the end is coming because something huge is brewing at Tesla, and Elon Musk is showing us that he is not playing around. One of the most famous retail Tesla stock investors, probably with tens of millions of dollars in his investment account, specifically dedicated to Tesla stock, says this is huge area to start with by Tesla. Usually you would start with a small area and expand, but this is almost the whole Bay Area and is massive. Look at Waymo here, this little piece here, and even smaller here. And yet Elon states you can now ride-hail a Tesla in the San Francisco Bay Area in addition to Austin in all of this area, not just little places. So yes, we had a little delay with the launch of the service in the Bay Area, but the wait was well worth it because the coverage area is huge and this is a massive paradigm shift. But you know what excites me even more than that? Tesla has started adding more Model Ys to their Robotaxi service in Austin, and we know that these specific vehicles, they do not have a driver in front of the steering wheel. They do have a safety person on the passenger side, but not a driver. So this episode is actually a pretty important episode for us Tesla stock investors, because a lot of things are changing, and some of this news that I will go through, at first it doesn't appear that it's that important, but it's actually a big deal. And those who are not bulls or bears, they will not see the significance of any of this news, but actually this is a big move. And if you like seeing a map of this size basically saying it is the end for Waymo and Uber also eventually, yes, hit that like button and let's continue. As of this moment, I cannot find the pricing for the services that Tesla is going to offer in the Bay Area, but if it's the same as in Austin, which is lower than that of Waymo's and Uber's, it's over for Uber and Waymo. The only reason why Uber and Waymo won't immediately shut down is because Tesla right now doesn't have that many vehicles in the fleet, but that will change. And of course, we will hear about analysts that are going to say, but this is too few vehicles and it's not going to make any difference. Just like, you know, how Tesla first started producing the Model Ys. The ramp is not going anywhere. It's going to be too long. But we, Tesla bulls, we got a hang of it and we knew exactly what's going to happen. And the moment that the rest of the investors and the big funds and everyone else realized, oh, the Model Y is actually scaling and it's going to be a success, everything changed. The jump, my dear friends, was rather sudden and a lot of people missed out on huge gains. And I definitely don't want to be a part of that group. So when I see Elon Musk indicating that he's not playing around, I'm staying with Tesla and trying to buy more Tesla stock every chance I get. Now, of course, like I previously said, Tesla's Bay Area rides will have a person sitting in the driver's seat for now, which is what their permit allows. This is why Sawyer called it a ride-hailing service and not a robotaxi service. Tesla's expected, however, to get the required permit that will allow them to run the same service as in Austin. No one in the driver's seat in about 1 or 2 months. But we long-term investors, we understand that big things are brewing at Tesla. Warren Redley here says tongue-in-cheek, probably nothing, but that's a big area. Tesla is swinging their huge reins here. Who can compete with this pace of product release? That's right, no one. Waymo has been in the Bay Area for years and still only works in 2 small pockets of this area. The future belongs to Tesla's robotaxis. And this is the first ride that was done by Tesla Economics account in the Bay Area. He was actually the first person to ride it. And one interesting thing, however, is notice how this driver, he does have the hands like this, which I thought was a little interesting, but of course it's the first drive, so it does make sense that they would do that. And Prasad here says Tesla's speed of expansion plus significantly lower pricing versus Waymo and Uber really highlights just how far ahead Robotaxi is. The writing is on a wall in red, bolded font. It reads, game over. People are calling this move by Tesla a checkmate. And just to give you an idea of how big this geofenced area in the Bay Area is, it is about 65 miles in length. Oh, and then Omar also points out that the South Bay service area isn't open to people like Omar yet. So for Omar, if he wants to use Waymo, he can only get around in this area. He cannot do it here. And Prasad here predicts Tesla probably launching a direct Uber competitor with drivers in the Bay Area, which will slowly get yanked as safety requirements are met within the state. And look, it makes sense for now until FSD is so safe that I can get in my vehicle and I can personally think that it actually is more capable than me, which right now I don't have that opinion when I get into my hardware for Tesla Model Y. But the moment I can do that, I think then it really makes sense for Tesla to remove all safety drivers. But for now, I think it's the right strategy, especially because a jury has just found Tesla partially liable for a fatal 2019 crash in Key Largo, Florida, and has ordered the company to pay $200 million in punitive damages. Oh, but wait, it gets more ridiculous. The jury has ordered Tesla to pay $329 million in damages, to be specific, despite the fact that the driver admitted he dropped his phone and was fishing for it, taking his attention off autopilot. Tesla specifically states active safety features are designed to assist drivers but cannot respond in every situation. It is your responsibility to stay alert, drive safely, and be in control of your vehicle at all times. Attorney representing Tesla said he was fishing for his phone. It's a fact that happens in any car that isolates the cause. The cause is he dropped his cell phone. Tesla can still appeal, it appears, so I'm sure Tesla will appeal. This whole thing is just ridiculous. To me, this reeks of political bias. Whoever is on a jury, I don't think they should be on a specific political side. Just pick people that are basically neutral or non-political at all, and then let them make a decision. Now, I don't know the jury. Maybe they are not political, maybe they are, but anyone you would ask, hey, look, I was driving and I dropped my phone and then I was fishing for my phone. And then I got into a crash. You ask anyone, whose fault was it? Yeah, the guy that dropped his phone and was looking for his phone. Obviously, you're going to be at fault in a crash. It's not going to be cruise control, or in this case, autopilot. And even if it was on FSD, it wouldn't be FSD's fault because you still have to pay attention. But this has to be one of the most ridiculous news about Tesla this whole year. $329 million and it's your fault? Are you kidding me? This is just absolute extortion. This is a way to get rich by taking advantage of a good company. Absolutely not acceptable. Speaking of unacceptable things, Farzad says, I live in Austin. I don't know how to feel about this. He's talking about the shapes. Not just one shape, but both. Okay, I'm moving on. All I can say is that the sizes were roughly scaled in proportion to their actual dimensions. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. Definitely not. Story here says, this is the sad state of news these days. Today, or recently, a Waymo car crashed into another Waymo, but the media hasn't covered it at all. I've seen no articles. If this were two Tesla Robotaxis, it would be all over the news. In fact, if that happened with two Tesla Robotaxis, it would be bigger news than anything happening basically about anything. There could be a new war breaking out somewhere, and probably two Tesla Robotaxis crashing into each other in the US would be bigger news in the US than a war starting someplace else. Now, this news is not really serious. It doesn't seem like there's actual like real bad damage. I mean, there's definitely damage, but I don't think anyone would have like been seriously hurt or anything, but still not good. Of course, negative headlines against Tesla generate clicks. Once about Waymo, don't as much. So most of the media doesn't bother to write about it. Is this crash the end of the world? Absolutely not, but the media would certainly paint it that way if it were Tesla Robotaxis. Nonetheless, the work toward a safer driverless future presses on. Oh, and we got first information about how expensive these rides of Tesla are. The first general public Tesla Model Y ride-hailing experience in the Bay Area cost $37.44 for a 26-minute, 16-mile ride. And this is actually cheaper than Uber or Waymo. Tesla's fare was 14% cheaper than Waymo and about 7% cheaper than a human Uber. That's excluding Uber tips. And when you get into a Tesla vehicle like this, I don't think you will want to leave any tips because it's supposed to be a robotaxi and you shouldn't leave tips for that. You know what else I'm looking forward to? The Austin Geofence expansion. That's coming. Dirty Tesla says, yeah, within a week, it's going to happen. Of course, Tesla's biggest challenge as they roll out Robotaxi will be ensuring safety critical interventions are at an absolute minimum. If they can keep up the pace of expansion for the coming months, it will really highlight just how safe the system is. Because remember, the thing right now is, if you do have your own vehicle, a Tesla vehicle with FSD, you don't actually know how good it is because Tesla has a different software version. So just because, let's say, your software or my software sometimes misbehaves a little bit, chances are the version that Tesla has and uses in Austin and San Francisco, that version is a lot less naughty. The speed of expansion is directly correlated with the approach Tesla took to solve self-driving using AI. Low part cost, high scale, massive backend build out with training that took far longer than expected. Now that the backend is built, the rest will come much faster. Oh, but if you thought that we are done with big news, well, get ready for this one because something absolutely massive is brewing at Tesla. Tesla Robotaxi tests expanding to the following cities. There's quite a few: Palo Alto, Brooklyn, New York, Houston, Texas, Farmers Branch, Texas, Arizona, Nevada, Florida, 3 cities in Florida, in fact. And we know about this because you can look at job openings and you will see vehicle operator autopilot, and you will see these locations too. So obviously Tesla is working on expanding in these areas as well. So get ready for big things to be announced by Tesla sometime soon, perhaps even. This is certainly very, very, very exciting. And yep, like I said, Elon Musk is not playing around, and Omar agrees. And here's a very rough demonstration of where these cities are. Of course, Houston is like right here, but this just gives you a good sense of roughly where Tesla is going to be at. Now, Tesla doesn't officially announce exactly how many robotaxis they have in the Austin fleet, but we can look at the license plates and figure out how many vehicles Tesla sort of has. And we now know that there's a new vehicle added because no one has seen that car before. So when Tesla launched, basically we had these 11 vehicles, but if you look at the license plates, this is a new license plate. So at least one new vehicle for sure is being added to the Tesla fleet. So based on that information, there's going to be at least 12 vehicles, but we don't know. Maybe there could be quite a few more than that. Wolfe Research put out a new note about Tesla. Tesla's investment story is shifting toward AI and autonomy, even as near-term auto outlook remains mixed. This name trades more around the narrative than the numbers analysts wrote, who don't see the future of Robotaxi, FSD, and all other things connected to Tesla. Confidence in Tesla's AI opportunities remains the most important driver of the stock. Wolfe highlighted upcoming catalysts around FSD and Robotaxi, including expansion to new markets, potential FSD approval in China and Europe, and hands-free functionality in parts of the US. They did, however, warn of a challenging setup over the next 18 months, citing risks to Model 3 and Model Y demand once US clean vehicle tax credits expire in late 2025. But remember, Tesla before has already gone through a period where they lost subsidies in the US. So people are making it out to be supposedly a big deal, but actually it's not that big of a deal because Tesla has already gone through it before and it was fine. Did we have a little bit of a slowdown at first? Yeah, but then things picked up again. Oh, and check out what Cramer is saying on Tesla. It's not a car company. Duh, that's good. That's obvious. I believe what Musk says, because Musk is working with Jensen and Jensen's telling me what's happening on the other side, is pretty amazing. Jim on Robotaxis here continues. Look, I mean, drivers make mistakes all the time. Why should we hold Tesla to a standard where there can be no mistakes? Jim Cramer's actually making some sense here. And he's sort of part of the mainstream media, so that's good to hear. Tesla should be held to the standard, which would equal basically human driving ability. Maybe you can, let's say, make it twice as hard. So imagine like the most gifted human when it comes to driving. Okay, whatever that is, we can hold that as a standard if we are being super picky. I think that would be fair. Anyway, Omar here says, just recorded my Tesla driving me from the Tesla diner in LA to Tesla's OG headquarters in Silicon Valley. In 6 hours of travel, I didn't drive at all. Not even to park at the charger. With just cameras, no other system can do this today. 6 hours. And speaking of big things brewing at Tesla, here's another one. Australia's National Transport Commission, NTC, says autonomous vehicles are coming soon in a new video. I believe they are referring to Tesla specifically. It's not guaranteed that it's about Tesla, but we have seen some posts from Tesla about Australia, so there's a good chance that my Australian friends, you guys will be able to have FSD over there too. I mean, we know it's going to happen. It's just exactly how quickly is it going to be, like in the next month or 6 months? Oh, Sawyer got a picture here. It's a closer look at the rig on top of Tesla's validation cars, and then Tesla's new Model Y performance spotted testing. And Dylan Loomis here is dropping some bombs. Those complaining that Tesla has safety monitors / drivers for now, the keyword here is for now, is one of the most short-sighted takes on reality I've seen in a long time. If you want to wait to compare stats between Tesla and Waymo, Geofence, cars, miles, etc., that's fine. Technically, it's not apples to apples. Customer only is certainly a big step. But the number of people that can't seem to see 6 to 12 months into the future is crazy. But that's how the world works. And that's how we as retail Tesla stock investors can take advantage of what's going on. If everyone understood everything, then there will be no opportunity. So this is you know, in a way, it's sad to see that this is happening, but on the other hand, it's great for us. Sure, maybe they're rooting for Tesla to fail. There are definitely people rooting for Tesla to fail, but we will not give in to that. But in that case, they will be on the wrong side of history, so it's an L for them either way. Well, that has happened so many times already, and that's going to happen again. To the Elon plus Tesla supporters, Dylan says, many people have waited a long time for this season, and many Tesla employees have worked long, challenging hours to get here. If you are a long-term investor, don't look to the stock for signal on a daily basis. Any given day, it's mostly automated / algorithmic trading anyway. And he knows because he used to be a money manager before. And he has seen how things work on the inside. And he has said that a lot of Wall Street, for example, or some of it certainly looks at technicals too. So for me personally, if I see Tesla stock drop, it's a buying opportunity. It's a bigger buying opportunity. But someone here makes a really good point. By default, most complainers are short-sighted anyway. And then I like this post from Elon. He says it is an immense amount of work, but possible. He's basically quoting the post from Tesla Economics. He's talking basically about Tesla going to the moon. Trillions in market cap to the moon. And now we are figuring out exactly how Tesla's pricing in Austin works. This is Tesla's new Robotaxi pricing system in Austin based on multiple riders I've talked to and Tesla Chan's post below. So the base rate is $1 charged on every ride, no matter the distance, and then every mile traveled is roughly $1 extra on top of the $1 base rate. Yep, and this is based on quite a few rides, so I think this data is pretty solid. And based on that, Frazat figured out that Robotaxi is 50% cheaper than UberX and almost 4 times cheaper than a comparable comfort ride, because when you're riding in a Tesla Model Y Robotaxi, you are being comfortable. It's clean, it's nice, smells good probably too, and it's comfortable. UberX will usually pair your car with a car that's 1 to 2 levels below Tesla's comfort and features, and it might smell a little bit, it might be a little worn out, it might be a little dirty, maybe not like dirty, but not sparkling clean. This is a sign of things to come, Uber investors. Beware. Take note. And right now, you know, with things happening the way they are happening, this reminds me a lot of 2019. Go back to early 2019 and just look through the news that was happening back then. Oh, you would think it was over for Tesla if you just look at the mainstream news. But I was looking at the company in the future and what Elon Musk was doing and how things were actually turning out. And sure, there was a lot of turmoil and a lot of noise, but I was convinced this is going to work out for Tesla and Elon Musk. And right now, I'm getting that similar feeling. I'm not saying that the stock is about to explode the next day, but big things are brewing. I haven't seen anything from Ross Gerber in a while, but he's saying it kind of seems silly to call it a Tesla Robotaxi. Meanwhile, some pretty potentially damaging FSD cases work through the course. Tesla should consider calling things by the right names, not wild exaggerations. I'm just personally happy that Ross Gerber never got a seat on the Tesla's board of directors. If he would have had a seat, probably he would have driven Elon Musk a little bit further away from Tesla, and I can't see how that would be a great thing for Tesla in the long term. So many people are saying that a lot of the things that Ross Gerber says about Tesla. Of course, there was a political period because Ross Gerber is definitely not aligned with Elon's politics. He's as far on the other side as you can be, almost, but not quite. So that by default definitely creates a lot of tension between Elon Musk and Ross Gerber, but also he didn't get that Tesla board seat, and I think he's not happy about that. And what I thought was strange was that Ross Gerber was talking to that other guy, Dan O'Dowd, in a relatively friendly way. So I was pretty shocked by that. So I don't know, maybe they're doing some business together. I have no idea what's going on there, but I'm just saying I thought it was strange. Ark Invest just dropped a little new piece about robotaxis and Tesla. Robotaxi competition is heating up in Austin. We believe 300,000 is the optimal number of robotaxis needed to meet urban Austin demand. Wow, that's a huge number. Tesla could hit this with just 2 months of production, more in our newsletter below. Now, the 300,000 number, that's if leverage third-party vehicles to meet peak demand. So urban Austin robotaxi demand by time of day, and this is the number of robotaxis. This is, for example, 12 p.m. right here, and over this line, you have personally owned vehicles. For example, I have a Tesla vehicle and I have FSD, and maybe I would get a notification. Hey, look, do you want to make some money, some good money? Add your Tesla vehicle to the fleet and celebrate a few hours later. For example, today, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not planning to use my car, and I could just add my car to the fleet as long as they actually clean the car after. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a way to do that where you'll just pay a little bit of money to whatever service Tesla is going to provide. And you would expect that if you add your vehicle to the Tesla Robotaxi network, it would come back more dirty. But if it gets cleaned at the end of the day, actually, even though many people will ride in your vehicle during the day, likely because the vehicle actually will get a fresh cleaning, probably it will come back cleaner than how it left. So think about this. I have a Tesla Model Y, and let's say it needs a wash. Let's say it needs a little bit of cleaning. It's not in bad condition, but you know, I like my things to be really clean. What a great idea. Just add my vehicle to the Robotaxi network for a day, and then it comes back fresh and clean, ready to go. Now that's a Robotaxi selling point that I have actually personally have not considered before. So that actually excites me. By the way, to that jury that said that Tesla needs to pay hundreds of millions of dollars to that person that crashed, how about the jury awards money to Tesla for saving people's lives? This vehicle was on FSD and this guy was the driver. And he says that if it wasn't for FSD, basically, there's no way, he says, I could have reacted that fast. This is life-changing technology. And how bad would this crash have been? It would have been a head-on crash, so that's not good. And also think about this, because Tesla reacts pretty fast, the car that's behind you, if there was a car behind him, I don't know, but that gives more time for that car to react too. Whereas if a human driver starts braking last second and then crashes into that vehicle, that sort of gives less time for the vehicle behind that vehicle also to brake. Depends on the situation, but my experience is that in actually really dangerous situations, FSD tends to brake faster than I would. Although in situations that are not dangerous, my current version of FSD at least, it tests my patience a little bit. It brakes a bit too late for how I would like to brake. Not in the city, but on a highway, absolutely. The version before that, I had no issues with it at all. Well, this is good to hear. Tesla's head of Megapack business development and sales said, I don't think we are going to sell another battery in Australia that's not grid forming. Oh, this is great for SpaceX. They're saying that Starlink update that's going out or that went out means that the internet will keep working even if trees or other obstacles partially block your home's view of the sky. I'm really excited about SpaceX stock. If there was no 20% fee basically that they take from you just to invest in SpaceX on your gains, I would be investing immediately. And then Ford here says it will be unveiling the future of its EV lineup in a couple weeks in Kentucky. Jim Farley says these EVs will dramatically improve profitability for the company. Currently, they are losing quite a bit of money from their EVs. They say they will build breakthroughs EVs. Well, I wish them luck. As I'm recording this video, the markets are almost closed and the markets are a little red today, but Tesla is doing better than this index and the NASDAQ 100. So Tesla is actually outperforming today. Why are the markets acting this way? Well, first of all, the Fed leaves interest rates unchanged, which was expected, but the Fed points to slowing economic activity and the money markets are estimating a 60% chance of Fed cut at the September meeting and 2 rate cuts by the end of year. But one of the reasons for the sell-off today is the new tariffs as well as weak jobs data. Perhaps the most shocking to markets was that for Canada, one of the US biggest trading partners, goods imported into the country will now have a 35% levy, up from 25%. And I personally believe that Tesla stock is going to $1,000 per share. If you like the idea of that, make sure to click the like button right now and subscribe. And I will be back with a new video probably on Monday. I also upload my videos on Rumble. There's a link down below if you like to follow me on Rumble. And I will see you on Monday. Thank you so much.